or even their Senate races and their races in their districts.
To the race for the White House. And overnight, Vice President Harris
it's pretty normal for the Senate race to divest about 5 points from the top of the ticket until October. When they close the gap, both sides tended to go to the middle. That being said, this North Carolina situation is very unique and might cause up/down ballot issues if North Carolina if Republicans stay home. Yeah. But like I said, it's the governor race is almost always removed from like other ballot considerations. That's why you have, like I said, even on the same ballot where there's like a presidential race happening, you might have a governor that is objectively popular in a red state that happens to be blue, for example. Oh, all right.
With Oprah fielding questions from voters while former President Trump spoke at an anti-Semitism event in Washington, D.C. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce is in Detroit for us with the latest. Good morning, Mary.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Well, this event here overnight in Michigan was signature Oprah Winfrey, from the celebrity appearances to the deeply personal and emotional stories of voters. Harris and Oprah, well aware this race is extremely close and trying to reach out.
I hated this event. Oh, my God. It was so ass. This is what I was watching when I had to like rage quit, basically, even though I had to like end the broadcast at that point. It was so 2016 Hillary Clinton, I'm with her style. It lasered my brain. It zapped me. And yet, a lot of chatters were totally libbed up. Georgia will take weeks to count. Oh, nice.
Those key voters that will make all the difference.
Unite for America!
Overnight, the Queen of Talk lending her star power to boost Kamala Harris and get out the vote, hoping to reach the critical sliver of voters that will determine this race.
Please welcome Kamala Harris!
God, I hate this
In a
shit.
highly produced virtual rally, Oprah trying to harness enthusiasm for Harris and keep her momentum going, urging Americans to vote their values.
Let me tell you, it is about character, and it's about decency and respect and all the things that we were raised to believe about what it means to be an American citizen and pursue the American dream.
Harris doing something she rarely does, fielding questions directly from voters about the issues top of mind for them, from immigration to the cost of living to reproductive rights.
The former president chose 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would overdo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did as he intended.
Speaking out for the first time, the family of Amber Thurman, the 28-year-old mother who was reportedly the first publicly known woman to lose her life as a result of Georgia's abortion ban.
You're looking at a mother that is broken. The worst pain ever that a parent could ever feel.
According to ProPublica, after a medical abortion, Amber suffered from a grave infection, but doctors waited 20 hours to operate. By then, it was too late.
I'm just so sorry. The word over and over again in her mind is preventable.
Yeah.
So is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help?
That's the problem.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
And on the issue of gun violence, Oprah noting Harris herself is a gun owner.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in
powerful.
my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
My staff will deal with that later.
That was an insane thing to say, bro. I'd be murking if they showed up at my doorstep is a wild thing to say when you're talking about gun control. Like, I don't necessarily hate it all that much, but like, I don't know how Democrats will view that. I guess they won't hate it because it's Kamala saying it and they like anything that she says. She's like, if somebody's breaking in, I'm strapped. Like, I will blast them. Did we cover this? Actually, coup-type groups working to intentionally block votes. Yeah, network of Georgia election officials strategizing to undermine the 2024 result. Emails reveal Georgia Election Integrity Coalition, a group of officials in election denies coordinating in the swing state. Yeah. Why would they stop, bro? They're going to always do this. First of all, remember, I say the same. Yeah, I know, but I'm not running for president, and I'm not trying to captivate the broadest marketplace of voters, okay? And I'm not saying that in the midst of, like, you know, gun control conversation immediately after like a school shooting victim talked. I think people probably like it though. It is very objectively American. So that's one thing. What was I gonna say? Wait, hold on. I'm trying to figure out what to do coordination wise. We gotta set up.
Back in Washington, former President Donald Trump joining one of his top donors, Miriam Adelson, at an event aimed at fighting anti-Semitism.
If we don't win this election, Israel, in my opinion, within a period of 2 to 3 years, will cease to exist. It's going to be wiped out.
The former president has said Harris, quote, doesn't like Jewish people and repeatedly attacked Jews who support Democrats and Harris.
Any Jewish person that votes for her, especially now, her or the Democrat Party, should have their head examined.
Harris's husband, second gentleman Doug Emhoff, himself Jewish, responding in an interview with our Michael Strahan.
He said this, quote, she doesn't like Jewish people. And
she likes me.
You're Jewish American. So what was your reaction when you heard that in real time?
So it's typical Donald Trump gaslighting. He is somebody who has had dinner with known anti-Semites. He is somebody who after the horrific events of Charlottesville, where people were actually marching with tiki torches saying Jews shall not replace us. And he said there were fine people on both sides of that.
Tell him, Doug.
This is a guy who has had a record of saying incredibly vile anti-Semitic things. So for him to say that, I just almost laugh at how the chutzpah, as we would say, and it's gaslighting.
I can't. I'm sorry, dude. Doug is so lame. Like, he's so goddamn lame, dude. It is crazy. I mean, he's cooking Trump here and he's saying the right things. But even when he's saying the right things, I'm like, God damn, what a goof this guy is. He is such a goddamn cornball goober, okay? He's just Doug. Even his name, Doug. Sorry.
Harris now heads to Georgia today for a big abortion speech in Atlanta. She'll again be highlighting Amber's story and the very real consequences of what she calls Trump's abortion bans. She then finishes the day in battleground Wisconsin. Trump is off the trail today, but back out in North Carolina tomorrow, Michael.
All right, Mary, thank you so much.
So last night we heard all about this town hall that Oprah was going to have. She wanted to bring out Kamala Harris, and she wanted to introduce her to a town hall and take some questions from the people. I had this little bet with Bill Hemmer, who joined me on radio, and Bill says she grew up a journalist before she was a talk show host.
Right.
She's going to ask real questions. Bill, you owe me money because there were no real questions. There were just saves. She was a lifeguard. She could have been on Baywatch.
Press secretary.
She could have been on Baywatch, saving people from one person from a political death, because she kept trying to get her to answer a question, but she also opened it by setting the tone by saying this, by going out of her way saying, something changed with you the minute Joe Biden stepped out. What was it? Well,
The veil dropped.
Yeah, the veil dropped. Really? I haven't seen the veil drop yet.
And she said suddenly she felt a certain responsibility. And that's kind of the way it went.
Celebrities.
Oprah Winfrey is perhaps one of the preeminent talk show hosts of American television history. And so, keep in mind, she has been an independent politically. The only time she really got behind any candidate was in 2007 with Barack Obama.
No one thinks she's independent.
She really pushed him at that point, and she stayed to the side. We never saw her at a convention endorse anybody until this summer, when she put everything she's got behind Kamala Harris.
I don't know how you host a town hall type format for 2 hours after you essentially gave a political endorsement of a candidate.
Well, we know whose side she's on
the stage. She used to represent that working class woman, appealing to the issues that matter to them. So she had an opportunity, a question was asked, to press her on this question right here. Watch.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah,
I got a HasanAbi head delivering the food up to my room, definitely at the hotel. He got so excited, and he was like, thank you, Hasan. 100 P. Are you stocked up on Zins? Hell yeah, baby. What are you, crazy? There's nothing funnier than talking about doing a town hall with Oprah when Donald Trump does town halls with like Sarah Huckabee Sanders and like Sean Hannity. And I guess they're just jealous that, they got pulled like that.
First of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
Oh, God.
And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, you know, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices.
You know what I realize? The truth doesn't matter, because the truth is inflation is high. That's why prices are up under Biden and under Kamala Harris's presidency. And interest rates are high. They did go down, 50 basis points, but not as low as they were under Donald Trump when they were 2.44%. People can't have the American dream like they used to under President Trump. But if they hate Donald Trump so much that they put on these shows, they bring in all these celebrities, which I don't think helps. I think actually it hurts. Julia Roberts, she zoomed in, Bryan Cranston, Chris Rock, Meryl Streep, and others as well. And those are the coastal elites. Those are the celebrities that no one can relate to. Oprah's a billionaire. People in that audience behind her are struggling because of these high prices. It's all smoke and mirrors, though. This is all propaganda to make you think that Kamala Harris is going to be a great candidate. Meanwhile, if you look at her voting record, she is so progressive. She wants to take money from hardworking Americans so that everyone's equal, everyone makes the same amount of money.
But look at her response, though. I mean, every time she speaks, I leave dizzy. She's just speaks in circles.
So long.
And, I mean, like, it's one thing that I cannot stand. Make your point and get out of it. Just 1, 2, move. And she just does the...
I don't think progressive has the same level of stink that they think it has. I'm serious. I don't think Americans, view the term progressive as a bad thing. Nor do they think, Kamala Harris is going to give you all health care as a necessarily bad thing. A much better substitute in terms of market reception would be radical left or even liberal. Radical liberal, too liberal. That was dumb of them.
To just let us know, point A, point B, this is what I'm going to do, make your life better, and move on.
Keep in mind, she has the job already. If she knew how to bring prices down, she would have done it. I'm pretty sure. Number 2 is the price gouging. She's shown no proof of any price gouging, and she took at least a minute and a half to get to price gouging. I understand, acknowledge the question and answer the question, but you're acknowledging the question because...
Everybody, this is something that you need to understand. This right there, this right here is a perfect demonstration of Republicans showing their hand because they're locked into the automatic posture of defending corporations. When Democrats do something that is anti-capitalist inherently, or even remotely threatens the bottom line of corporations, no matter which one it is, Republicans have to instinctively defend it, okay? And that is precisely what's happening here. Tackling grocery corporations doing price gouging, whether you agree with the policy or not, is objectively popular. It polls at 83%. 83%. So now, when you say you are going to tackle price gouger, you are getting Republican mouthpieces to personally defend the interests of mega corporations that you have already identified as villains in your mind. This is why I always say you have to defend these positions, man. You have to give Republicans something to fight against. That's it.
I have no answer to the question. That was it. So it was so tedious to watch. And then you think when the celebrities came on, they would say something. I know it's crazy. They would say something of substance. Oh, they says, I feel joy. I feel happy now. You know what that is more of a hit on? Joe Biden. I'm so glad Joe Biden is not going to be president.
Chris Rock said, I want to be able to take my little girls to the White House to a black president. And I'm like, well, you're a celebrity. You have that opportunity to go to the White House and take your little girls.
Yeah, meanwhile, the other black kids are struggling. Can't read and write in many of our communities. Have to deal with the illegals that's taking over the communities, the rec centers and all that. So all these people have the luxury to have joy because the economy is not impacting them on the same level.
Well, the whole idea behind this is because Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are only going to do the one debate. She's not really going to do any interviews, with real news people.
What?
Although
then make Trump do another debate.
Or Brian, you made the point with Bill Hemmer. She used to be a reporter. She was a reporter in Baltimore, but she was there as an activist to try to prop her up. Because what the campaign is trying to do is they're trying to get the people who are persuadable. Right now, according to the new Fox News poll, the people who support Trump and Kamala Harris, only 1% of them are movable. But there's a tiny little sliver in the middle that are undecided. And that's why they're trying to do this. It's unconventional because this was all streaming. So they're obviously going after kids who watch everything on the phone. The New York Times just dropped a story that says, and this goes to the point about how important your phone is. And
yeah, kids love Oprah Winfrey and $50,000 in tax cuts for startup businesses. Kids, famously high propensity voters. Let's say when he says kids, he's talking about 18 plus. But even beyond that, not only are people under the age of 35 low propensity voters for a multitude of different reasons, they also quite literally do not give a single shred of a fuck about Oprah.
The online stuff. The week of the debate, the Kamala Harris campaign outspent Trump 20-1 buying ads on Facebook and Instagram. The whole idea was to say, essentially, we've got a lot of money and we're going to try to get the message out. She's this. And so they're presenting a certain image, and there's a lot of feelings, but not a lot of facts.
Oh. So she also talked about something else.
Yeah, she talked about, we know she said that when she was asked about the mandatory buyback thing at the debate. You want to buy back? you're going to make everyone turn over their, and she said, no. Tim has her vice president, and I have a, so
right.
We learned more about that
shocking.
and what she plans to do with her if someone breaks in her house.
I hate that they're like, you can be an owner and still push for a buyback, dude. It doesn't have to be mandatory.
Listen,
I'm an owner. Tim Walz
I
is
didn't know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in
powerful.
my house, they shot.
Yes. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Yeah.
They deal with everything. They always clean up the mess. This whole campaign has been run by staff. But even Oprah, who's being genuine, she goes, I did not know that. No one knows that you've been district attorney, you've been attorney general, and you've been senator. There has been no ads ever cut of Kamala Harris saying that she has a.
Well, she has talked in the past about the need to keep it in.
I don't understand. Does it break your mind? Well, one, she's such a goddamn cop. Like, even her answer is so cop adjacent, where she's like, if someone breaks into my house, I'm blasting. Right? Like, that was a genuine moment. I think it'll probably play well for a broader audience of Americans, because like Americans are all John Rambo in the way that they see themselves. But like, these guys are so brain broken where they're like, oh wow, like she never announced that she had like, what do you mean, dude? She's not at a traffic stop. She doesn't have to tell the cops she has okay. I mean, she is a cop. But beyond that, like, it's such a perfect demonstration that like ownership for them is not like a thing that happens, a thing that exists. Like, it has to be performative. It has to be the most important aspect of your personality. Like, oh, she's never mentioned that she hasn't before. It's like, so what? Do you have to always mention it? It's not the top of the hour ad break where I have to tell you ahead of time that the top of the hour comes with a 3-minute ad break. You know? It's very stupid. Anyway, here's a 3-minute ad break now. It's just very revealing how they view. And by the way, those guys, none of those guys are probably owners anyway, because they're all libtards living in New York. Most Fox News commentators are literally libtards living in New York, so they probably don't have it anyway. And don't even like, that's the other thing that you have to remember. To them, it's just purely an aesthetic that like the dumb hogs love. So that's why they're like, I don't get it. She's never talked about it before.
A safe place. Let's listen to the DA, Kamala Harris, talk about what happens, what police should be doing for owners. Watch.
We're going to require responsible behaviors among everybody in the community. And just because you legally possess in the sanctity of your locked home.
Wow. I can't believe it. This 1P video in 2007 has Kamala Harris saying the correct things about ownership.
Home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Okay, so that was
gonna
then.
barge into your house?
Just barge in.
And this is now. So last night she talked about how she and the vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, both have interesting tidbit. Apparently, Tim Walz is doing debate prep. And do you know who is preparing it?
Dog. I don't know if like we are so brain broken as a nation. I think we probably are. But what they did there was to showcase Kamala Harris having a very normal and very correct position, which is that you have to maintain, if you are an owner, you have to make sure that it's safe. Like, how is this a negative, dude? It's like literally, it is the same principle behind saying Kamala Harris wants to give you health care. Like, how is that a bad thing, bro? That's not a bad thing. It's like saying Kamala Harris wants to destroy Israel.
Yep. Plain
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg, exactly. And who did Buttigieg work up before? Worked with Kamala Harris when it was time to debate Mike Pence.
I think her flip-flops just show she knows she has to be more of a moderate. She has to paint herself more as a moderate. We know she's not. We know she's progressive. Bernie Sanders says she's progressive. She's just being pragmatic so that she can win this election. She is not a moderate. Look at her voting record. I think now she's saying no tax on tips because she stole that from Donald Trump. Because she knows that that was a winning message, especially for Nevada and people that work in the industry, food industry and beverage industry. Then she also said mandatory buyback on your, then she flip-flopped on that to sound more like President Trump. You can keep your, in fact, I have it. And then she said, no fracking. Now she's saying,
I need to explain something to you. These people, much like the Democratic Party, legitimately believe that being moderate, being perceived as moderate is a good thing, okay? That it's like an automatic lock for victory. That's why they're saying Kamala Harris is not a moderate. She's a radical progressive. Now, the problem here is they do actually believe that. Like, they believe that, but it's false. And the example I will show you is currently the most popular person on this campaign. His name is Tim Walz. Remember early on when they revealed that Tim Walz was going to be the VP pick and Trump and all the Republicans on Fox News celebrated? They were like, oh, what a stupid person. I can't believe she didn't go with Josh Shapiro. What an idiot. And I told you back then, part of that is just cope. And the other part is because they truly are believers. Everyone is a goddamn liberal in the United States of America at the end of the day. Okay? I'm not saying what she's presenting herself as, Chatter. Don't misunderstand me. I'm saying that presenting yourself as a progressive isn't a bad thing. Just stick to the issues, and that's it. Stick to the issues and have Republicans defend the inverse of said issues and have them explain why, you know, giving people health care, giving children health care or paying for their meals is a radical position in this country. That's it. That's all you need to do, baby. Explain to them on the policy front that Republicans nefariously try to make it seem as though progressive policy positions are just bad without ever being called out for it. Tim Walz is the most progressive person. It obviously showed, Tim Walz is the most progressive person, and the Republican Party celebrating the Tim Walz pick as like a massive L for Kamala Harris, in my opinion, showed once again that they do honestly believe that like running on a progressive message is bad, but they are out of touch and they are wrong. It is not bad. Problem is liberals also believe it. That's the issue.
you frack, sounding like Donald Trump. And then here she's saying, if you break in my house, I'll shoot you, like a lot of Americans would do.
But it's also such a Secret Service, okay? All right, they're going to be the people that like, don't pretend to the American people. You think people at home really think that Kamala Harris is going to be the person wielding the, if someone breaks in? Hopefully they do a better job than they've been doing with Donald Trump, though, and they stop the person from even doing the perimeter.
Right.
So I just don't believe her.
Right. I would like to know how well she's trained with it, because you got to learn to train with it. You can't just have it. I thought the responsible thing to do. Couple of things. Well, there's a story in Politico today that says that she does not talk about manufacturing in those blue states, in Michigan, in Ohio, and in Pennsylvania, and that could be a huge detriment. The other problem she's having is, you know those uncommitteds that showed up not to vote for Joe Biden, to vote uncommitted? They have not committed to vote for Kamala Harris. They said they have not gotten the answers that they want. And that could affect in Michigan, in Arizona, in North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Now, you have no uncommitted line. You could just leave it blank. But there is an uncommitted line in Nevada. So if you're going to say, if you're angry about the Israeli-Gaza situation and are not happy with her agreeing to an embargo, you are staying with uncommitted. Well, that is a huge boon for President Trump.
Well, actually, Uncommitted National said we still oppose Donald Trump and we don't encourage anybody to vote third party. So it sounds like they're just saying, don't vote. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
But if there's an option to vote uncommitted, they're being urged to vote uncommitted. At this time, our movement cannot.
I hate these guys. Did he also say angry about the embargo? Like, does he just think that that's what liberals are mad about? Like, as in, like, they want no embargo? That's how little they've thought about this. They just don't give up. They're like, yeah, don't vote for Kamala Harris, Gaza, right? All you silly ass libtards, all you give it about is like exploded children, exploded brown children who deserve it. Like, yeah, don't vote for Kamala Harris.
Of course, Vice President Harris. That's huge. Yeah. And I think, too, a lot of people are going to say she's not giving her the answers. But I tell you what, you're going to hate Trump's answer because he was yesterday speaking to a Jewish American group, and he was letting everybody know, I've been the best friend to Israel. I don't even think Trump's critics would say that. And I can't believe that if you're an American and you of Jewish faith, that you would not vote for me. He says right now, he's only got 40% of the Jewish vote because how could I not have 100?
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Lee.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question.
Hi.
Perhaps it's one that warrants a further examination. It warrants an interrogation. You know? Great question. Why is it that 100% of Jews are not in support of Donald Trump? Maybe, just maybe, the universal cynical application that marries the concepts of Judaism and Zionism is just built around a falsehood. I don't know. I'm no big city lawyer, chat, but it kind of feels like, at least all the data that I've seen, it doesn't seem to be the most significant thing, the most consequential thing for American Jews. Why the would they care about Israel that much? You literally are a big city lawyer? I am not a big city lawyer. How dare you?
I'm Kamala Harris, and this is the Wired autocomplete interview. What do you want me to do with each one?
Just drop them on the floor. Yeah.
It's not going to be in the camera shot?
It's off camera.
Because I don't believe in littering.
No, I know. We're gonna
Okay. How to pronounce Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. My baby nieces, you can go on YouTube, and they did a really great tutorial on how to pronounce my name. So look it up. What did Kamala Harris's mother tell her? She told us that we should never let anyone tell us who we are. You tell them who you are. She said to me many times, Kamala, you may be the first to do many things. Make sure you're not the last.
Has she made even one vote earning decision after naming Tim Walz? It's been misfire after misfire ever since. Yes, I agree with you. 100 P. It's ass. She has been utter hot ass since the Tim Walz pick. Well, I guess like, did the price gouging thing come before or after? That was the only other thing. Okay, just straight. I think I with the exception of like, I'm gonna tackle price gouger. It has just been awful. The debate wasn't all hot ass. No, we're talking about like earning votes beyond the aesthetics, chatter, beyond the aesthetics. If you are already committed to going out to vote and you care about civility in politics, then yes, she did a fantastic job earning your vote by showcasing the fact that she is an adult woman and someone who's a responsible adult, especially when matched against Donald Trump. The problem is, outside of that, if we're talking about like any kind of real momentum, any kind of real progressive policies that she would be responsible for if elected, she'd been hot ass. She keeps saying how she's middle class and loves the middle class and loves small businesses over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, who is this for, dog? Who is this for?
I was 2 years old. My mother told me to look out for my little sister. These are all instructions that she gave me that I have carried throughout my life. What does Kamala Harris stand for? I am a daughter of parents who are active in the civil rights movement.
Oh God, here we go. What does she stand for? She's middle class. She's middle class. That's what she stands for. She's middle class. And also, have I told you guys that I'm middle class? I want to mention once again, I'm middle class and I love small business. Opportunity economy. Why is that a bad thing? Because it's fake. It's phony, dude. Think about Tim Walz. Think about the way Tim Walz communicates his background. He was a teacher. He was a veteran. Okay? When you listen to him speak, whether what he did as a coach, whether it's about what he did as a teacher, like there is a level of authenticity to it. Okay? Kamala Harris simply just goes, I'm middle class. I love small businesses. She laughed She laughed when she says she loves small business. She did the, I love small businesses. Ain't nobody feels that way, okay? That's not a real thing. Man, I was worried about the genocide, but she says she will give $50K to small businesses. Yeah. Like, I asked you this question when the first plan was unveiled, that she was going to do $50,000 in tax cuts for small businesses, startups, startup economy, opportunity economy, yada, yada, yada. It's like classic liberal elite speak, by the way, that is like truly repulsive, utterly repulsive to like the broadest subsects of American society, those that live both in places like New York and California, but certainly outside of places like New York and California where people feel left behind. Okay? They hate that language. And I get it. Like, I get why they hate that language. That language is repulsive. It sucks. And all I will say is this. Tim Walz is locked in to defending Kamala Harris's positions no matter how they are because he's a VP. He's a loyal soldier. So just listen to the way he talks about these issues and what he seeks to omit when talking about these issues and what he seeks to focus when talking about even the policies that Kamala Harris is advancing. And you will understand why the way Kamala Harris presents a lot of this stuff is just ass, okay? If you live in one of these flyover states, if you live in the Rust Belt, if you live in a town that has been like absolutely gutted by capitalism as like the industry has left because they shipped manufacturing jobs to either Mexico with NAFTA or they shipped manufacturing jobs to China and left nothing but rubble behind. And you hear someone from California go, I love the opportunity economy. I'm middle class. I love small businesses. I love my small businesses. You're going to be like, what the f- are you talking about, dude? Give me money. Give me fucking money. That's why her statements on price gouging, going after price gougers, is the most popular policy position that she has right now. That's her most popular policy position. Okay? In spite of the regular attacks against said policy from Republicans, Republican media, saying it's Vuvuzela, saying it's Venezuela, saying it's Kami Harris. It doesn't matter. People are like, well, I don't give a shit. It's too expensive. Do the same for rent. Okay? Do the same for rent. Do the same for rent. Just say it, YOLO. We're going to drive rent down. Even if you don't have a good idea about how you're going to do it, you should just say it regardless. Okay? Just say it. It's a real problem that people experience, a real problem that people are living through. Address that issue. Child tax credit is good. I'm a small business owner. I couldn't give less about the small business tax credit. Nobody cares. No, the child tax credit is good. And it's also objectively very popular. I still hate the delivery mechanism of the child tax credit because obviously it's a tax credit. And it seems like we have nothing. We only have like, what's good? March is here. It seems like Democrats will only solve a problem by like gutting revenue streams and trying to arrive at a backward solution. Like the better alternative is subsidies, but obviously tax cuts. We have primed the American population to believing that tax cuts are good and tax hikes are bad, which is why no Democrat will ever demonstrate courage and be like, no, we're just going to give you money. You know, I think I got to disagree as a dude that works in a warehouse. Most people aren't thinking about this kind of shit. They honest to God think Trump is better on the economy off nothing other than vibes. No, dude. They think Trump is better on the economy because that's like a thing that the Republicans in a media marketplace that is slanted towards hyper-capitalism, of course, the side that is more pro-deregulation is always going to come across like they are better for business, okay? The media will present this false narrative thoroughly. But beyond that, Trump also does regularly say, I'm going to cut prices. He just doesn't tell you how, but he says it, so people hear it. Just like he also lied routinely in 2016 about how he was going to bring manufacturing jobs back. Okay? That's it. Like, people like to hear that from their politicians. I promise you, if you are hurting, okay, this is the worst audience to communicate this to because a lot of you are nerds, okay? You're the most annoying goddamn nerds on the planet. And therefore, you have no capacity to look at a situation and be like, maybe people do believe the politician when the politician says, I'm going to cut your prices, even if the politician is lying. Okay? That's the problem. A lot of you are goddamn nerds, so you go, but Trump is lying. It's like, yeah, I know, dumbass. It doesn't matter. People believe him. If you're looking at an election, that's good marketing, okay? That's it. Yeah, you don't have to use any of that. I don't know what that is. Why do you have two? You have a vendor pass? Yeah. Damn, bro, flex. March has a vendor pass. He's staying in a much nicer hotel. Yeah, he's little broing me. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, shit, hold up. No, I'm going with it. Well, you don't like my fit? Asking me if I'm changing? What the hell? Door's open. Oh, I'm not there to sign it. Can you just drop it off? I can't sign it. I'm not there right now. Sure. Piker. Thank you. All right. This is ridiculous. Hasan, the bros and fellow Kamala door knockers have found me and keep using me for their talking point paychecks, lol. What? You are saying the vibes are showing Trump up, but polling has him near 1-2 lead, only down from what it was? No. Kamala Harris has been able to catch up to Donald Trump on the economy because he doesn't even he focuses entirely too much on immigration right now. His strong suit is the economy, and he's completely dropped the ball on it because he literally almost exclusively talks about immigrants. That is the real reason why Trump is actually down on the economy in comparison to where he was on the economy, because he just has no interest in talking about anything. He said he had concepts of a plan. That was bad. Okay. But you also have to understand, he literally can't shut the up about migrants. Bro, he was at the anti-Semitism conference yesterday, and he said migrants are responsible for the rise in anti-Semitism. That's when I knew this man has lost his sauce. Okay. I feel like old Trump also despised immigrants, but would never say such an idiotic thing. Okay. Like, anti-Semitism is being caused by the migrants is such a funny thing to say when, like, the people repeating his anti-migrant sentiment are straight up blood and soil. Jews will not replace us Nazis, which he historically sided with and said we're very fine people. So, like, that's like that to me spells that he's so one note.
They actually took me when I was in a stroller to civil rights marches where they were fighting for freedom, for justice, for equality. I believe, for example, right now that one of the biggest things that we must fight for is
good on economy is also effectively a dog whistle for will deport immigrants who are taking your job. Nah, I don't think so. I think some people do believe that, but I think most people now have moved on to, like, migrants are a problem for national security rather than, like, migrants are a problem for the economy. I think most Americans, like a lot of the Americans who think migrants are bad for national security, literally hire undocumented migrants. The fuck are we talking about? Every single person knows, or maybe is, like, oblivious to this reality, but there is a person out there in one of the businesses that you have hired or in one of the businesses that you encounter, whether they be like the HVAC specialist or whether it be, I don't know, landscapers or something like that, or the guy that your landlord hires to fix your HVAC. You know what I mean? Like someone that you interact with on a daily basis that is a business owner that is right-wing absolutely is sitting there and hiring undocumented migrants. Okay. 1000%. Restaurants that you frequent, the owner might be right-wing, but they are absolutely hiring undocumented migrants. That's it. Every kitchen in every restaurant. So these guys people that are taking care of the elderly, your grandparents, like, they still hate them, but it don't matter. They also kind of recognize that these guys are these guys are just doing jobs that you don't want to do for the price point that you will never take. I was watching, and I happen to agree completely with what you just said, but the thought that the only thing you have eaten for dinner in the past 6 years was chicken. Did I just watch you eat something else? Yeah, I had a shawarma. I just had a shawarma. Good eye chatter. Kelly Osbourne take? What do you mean Kelly Osbourne take? It's just the truth of the matter. Like, there is not a single crop that's picked in this goddamn country that doesn't touch migrant hands, okay? They are used and abused. My solution to this problem is not necessarily to keep them undocumented and hyper-exploited. It is to document them. I know this isn't what we want to hear here, but the older suburb generation, almost everything she's done has slapped. It's all I get. Child tax credit, lower prices, housing plans, all fired these people up. They love her calm delivery is what they want. Yeah, I don't care, dude. There are a ton of people out there, okay? Those people already voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden already defeated Donald Trump. Those people are either going to come out and vote regardless. They always vote. They love voting. Older people in the suburbs love voting. And she already has them on the civility front. The problem is those people are already invested. Those people are already going to go out and vote. You're talking about people who are going to go out and vote, and they're going to vote for Kamala Harris, just like they were going to vote for Joseph Robinette Brandon. We're not talking about those people. This is what's very frustrating about this story is like, yes, I know upper middle class suburbians love neoliberal policies. I get that. But there is a massive amount of people that you're just like leaving, you're casting aside. There's a massive amount of people that you could potentially, if you made a convincing argument, move over to your side as well. I just don't like, I don't know. I hate this like tailoring your policy, hyper-specific policy that's not going to really help a lot of Americans exclusively to the whims of like, you know, the upper middle class suburban white people with a college education. There's a ton of people that don't have that college education that are just like looking for something different. One of the most important aspects of this election has been 60% of voters demanding change, like needing change from the prior administration. Okay. A second point on that is that the majority, the overwhelming majority, not overwhelming, but majority of voters also say Trump does represent a change. Now that could be good, that could be bad. 28% say Kamala Harris represents that change. That should be a clear-cut indication that there's a lot of people out there that want change and are not seeing it in Kamala Harris. The goal should not be to get those people to reluctantly go out and vote for you. The goal should be to at least say a couple things, like I'm begging, just a couple things. I'm like reducing the needs and the interests from the Democratic campaign every day at this point. It's just like it's not bad. It is good. It is good for the election.
Freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. An important moment that I had was back in 2004, when I was one of the first elected people in the country to perform same-sex marriages, because I believe very strongly that the law should not treat people differently when it comes to being able to love who they love and the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. Does Kamala Harris have kids? Yes. I have 2. Cole and Ella became my cherished children. Doug, my husband, I was very clear with him that when we started dating, I wanted to see how this thing was going to go before I would meet Cole and Ella. You know, I'm a kid of divorced parents.
We got to swap out.
It was important to make sure that when I developed a relationship with the kids, that it would be lasting. I love those kids to pieces. They are my children, and I'm very proud of them. How was Kamala Harris's life as a child? I had the blessing of having a great childhood. I grew up